Hey guys, back again with another story time for you. I'm still using my phone as a microphone because for some reason, when I use it with my camera or any other app outside of my video editing app, my Blue Yeti microphone's not working. So I got to get a new microphone soon. It's like 7 years old, so I understand. But I can talk on it when the video starts, but when I'm looking at you, I can't. So I won't be holding my phone when I'm looking at you. But yeah, just saying what's up. Of course. This is uncut, just a story from me to you. Enjoy the Mario Kart World gameplay. And yeah, let me tell you why I wasn't a fan of the Switch to Nintendo Direct and what went on with that controversial live stream that I had. Let's get into it. So if you guys are new and unaware, this channel is affiliated with my main channel, Nintendo Land. And I live stream on Nintendo Land pretty much only for Nintendo Directs or certain specific games. The only game I've really live streamed with a lot was Mario Maker 2 when I was playing your guys' levels and viewer levels and stuff. But yeah, I stream every direct, and the big difference with me and a lot of different streamers is I keep it real. I am a huge Nintendo fan, and I really don't pop off over anything unless it's something like I absolutely love. For instance, I definitely popped off and almost cried on stream for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door Remake's announcement. But I keep it real, and I grade Nintendo at the end of each direct, and I see how well it was, and did they cover the things that they needed to, and did it perform to my liking, and I just keep it real. If everybody else loved it, I say, hey, you guys loved it, that's awesome. I didn't, and it's fine, and I move on with my life. And of course, we were all definitely waiting for this Switch to Nintendo Direct. This is probably the most hype I've ever been in my entire life for a Direct. We were coming off of kind of, in my own eyes, a little bit of a drought from Nintendo. I know Nintendo had a lot, and I mean a lot of games there in 2023. They had Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, Mario Wonders. It definitely wasn't a drought. But then the year afterwards, man, 2024 was silent. It was 90% remakes, remasters, spin-offs, small games. It just felt like Nintendo didn't have anything big up their sleeves or anything big coming in recent years. So obviously with 2025, at the beginning of 2025, I really expected this Direct to be like the big thing that we've been waiting for. 3D Mario, all kinds of, huge announcements, games we weren't even thinking about to kind of slate out the entire 2025 year. So obviously I had my mind a little too hyped, I will admit. But I think it was for good reasoning. It's a big Nintendo Direct dedicated, obviously, to the Nintendo Switch 2, a new system that we knew little about, hardly anything about, and we only got a small snippet of a new Mario Kart game. So I knew there was going to be a lot to be excited for, and, I think I was extremely hype, expecting the most from Nintendo. And I know a lot of people are always like, don't expect too much or you'll get disappointed, always have low expectations. I don't agree with that. It's just like, are we supposed to go throughout life not looking forward to things, not being happy and excited? You know what I mean? And that's one of the things about being a Nintendo fan, is being excited for those Nintendo Directs and stuff. And I'm just like, what's the point, of us just sitting around being, let down by everything and not expecting anything exciting? So no, I expected for this to be a great, amazing show. Now, how did this all go? Well, let's start off at the beginning. Mario Kart World was revealed, and it was one of the best reveals of the entire show, probably my biggest reveal of the entire show. I was so content and happy with everything that I've seen from Mario Kart World. It looked like the wackiest, craziest racing game of all time. It exceeded my expectations, and I remember sitting there thinking, Nintendo snapped. Like, this is how you start a show. I did not expect them to start the show with a game, compared to, I thought they were going to start the show with just like a, console showcase, and I was so shocked that Nintendo, just had that huge game to start the show, and it went into almost a little overview of Mario Kart World, and I loved every second of it. It was awesome. It's kind of what happened afterwards that let me down, because the rest of the show, not so much to me. And let me explain what I mean. So the rest of the show, they began to just kind of discuss stuff about the console. And I feel like the stuff that they were telling us about the console was really boring. They went on a whole 5 to 7 minute tangent on game chat, which I'm like, game chat's been a thing for so many consoles for so long now. And they were making it like it was the biggest thing ever. you get game chat, and like you also have a little camera that you can use and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this should have been like a minute or 2 minutes, but like no, they made a big deal about it. And I remember leading up to the Direct, they made a big deal about it, saying like, what is this C button? What do you think it's going to do? You know, stay tuned to find out with the Switch 2 Direct. And I remember, you know, expecting like this might be something big, like maybe some type of like social media app from Nintendo or something. Like they're really hyping this thing up. And it was just chat. It was just game chat. So it was kind of like some air was let out of the balloon there. I was like, that wasn't really that exciting. You know what I mean? Okay, whatever. And let's move on. Then Nintendo decided to start talking about games. And then they started talking about old games. And I thought that was weird. I was like, okay, why are we talking about Switch 1 games? They were showing how Switch 1 games would be getting some upgrades for Switch 2, and that there would be Switch 2 Edition games as well, where these games got some new content, also new, you know, a lot better graphics and frame rate issues fixed and stuff like that. And of course, they showed freaking Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom again, you know, and we knew this was coming. There were some leaks saying that Breath of the Wild was going to get a like 4K edition and stuff, but I'm just so tired of that world, and just like, man, we spent so much time in Breath of the Wild's world with Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, and then obviously, you know, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild Link in Smash, Breath of the Wild Link in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, that world, we spent so much time there. And I'm just like so tired of it. But of course, these games are back, you know, and they're like advertising them like they're new games, that, you know, to some extent. And I was just like, man, why are we seeing these games again? But they did it a lot. Mario Party Jamboree also got the same thing. I could have cared less. I was not impressed with Jamboree. I thought it was, you know, good to an extent, but, you know, I had issues with it. I thought the mini games were some of the weakest ones in the series. I felt like all the additional game modes and stuff was just filler. I wasn't really excited about all that. But yeah, seeing Jamboree TV, it looked like a corny update. I could care less. I saw them using the camera and then the mouse mode stuff. I was just like, nah, I'm good. You know, I don't need any of that. They showed Kirby, which looked really cool. I'm a huge Forgotten Land fan, so any more content of that game is awesome. So I was happy for that. And then Metroid Prime 4 was the weird one. They showed also Pokemon Legends ZA would be getting a Switch 2 edition. It's not even out yet. It's like this holiday, but Metroid Prime 4 was the weird one for me, because I'm like, this game is just not getting the love from Nintendo I feel like it needs to be getting. I feel like it should be getting huge trailers. Once again, this is uncutted video. I'm just speaking, not fixing anything. Huge trailers for the game, and we really didn't get anything. I mean, they gave us like a little, you know, snippets of trailer, little snippets of gameplay here and there, and I feel like it's always just like, hey, here's a little bit of Metroid Prime 4. Moving on. Here's a little snippet of some gameplay. Moving on. You know, they never really focus on this game big time, and that's what they did here. They kind of almost threw it on the back end of things, and just like, oh, hey, yeah, you could play Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 1 or Switch 2. And I was just like, that was weird. And I feel like this is one of those games that I really expected to get a big, fancy trailer here at this showcase. And it didn't get really anything like that. Yeah, I got a Nintendo Treehouse, one little gameplay session, but I mean, that game looks so good. And there's so much that game looks like it's going to bring to the table, and they're treating it like it's not that big. This is already a fourth game in an already niche franchise for a lot of people. So, I mean, Nintendo has to give people a reason to jump in and play this game. There's also no way to play Primes 2 and 3 unless you have a Wii. So, Nintendo really is making it difficult to enjoy you know, or even want to enjoy Prime 4, because a lot of people are going to have to probably go out and try to find and play Primes 1, 2, and 3. I know Prime 1 got a remaster, but I'm like, or remake rather. Remaster, remake, I don't know, same thing, but it's not the same thing. But yeah, they got, I'm pretty sure it was Metroid Prime remastered, so there's no way to play 2 and 3. So a lot of people are going to have to find a real reason why they want to play 4, you know, skipping 2 and 3 if you're just playing on Switch, so. I don't know, unless Nintendo has plans to bring out 2 and 3 still. But either way, yeah, Prime 4 just did not get the attention I wanted it to. And instead, it's just like, oh, yeah, it's Switch 2 edition. So, yeah, they spent a lot of time just showing Switch 2 editions and stuff. And just like, this is a Switch 2 Direct, and we're here looking at Switch 1 games for this long. I'm like, okay, let's dive into the good stuff. And then they're like, immediately, let's get into the games. And it's all third-party games. Like, it's an onslaught of third-party games. I know a lot of people want a lot of third-party games on Switch, you know, especially with Switch 2 being a lot better with its power and stuff. So, you know, it can actually have some of those games that we've been waiting for. to come over. But I'm like, as someone who also owns other consoles, like I have an Xbox, Series X, and I also have a PS5. And I'm like, I'm still going to play any of those non-Nintendo games on those other Nintendo consoles. And I'm like, I'm watching a Switch 2 Nintendo Direct for Switch 2 Nintendo games. You know what I mean? Nintendo first-party games. And I'm like, I could not believe how many third-party games that they showed off in a row. I mean, it was seriously... I'm not joking. It felt like, I think I did the time out of the hour show. I think they spent like 20 to 25 minutes on third-party non-Nintendo games, which is just crazy to me. I mean, the pacing was so bad. I felt like it was like 20 third-party games and then a random first-party game. 20 third-party games, random first-party game. And it just, yeah. And then the first-party games that they would show weren't anything that crazy. I love Hyrule Warriors, okay? And this is one of those like, okay, now let's get back to first party games and they show this, which let me say already, Hyrule Warriors is already kind of a second party, third party situation. It's made by Koei Tecmo, with Nintendo just at the helm. It's the company that makes all the Warrior games. So, I love these games. I'm still on my completion to 100% complete, the original, the Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. I loved Age of Calamity, and I'm even excited for this new one, Age of Imprisonment. And they've even said like Age of Imprisonment was going to be a Switch 1 title, because I think we all expected that game to come, talking about the prisoning war and stuff and showing the story of Zelda when she went back in time. I think that's awesome. But man, as one of like your big announcements for your Switch 2 reveal, it's not exciting. I'm definitely going to pick up the game and play it. Don't get me wrong. But there's just so many problems with this. Once again, it's another Breath of the Wild world game. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of this world, and they just keep on adding to it. It just doesn't end. And it's just like, this is the, third Hyrule Warriors game now. Oh my gosh. Like, it's just like, I was really hoping that they would take the Warriors series eventually, and like I said, I knew this game was going to happen eventually. I think we all did. I even made a whole video, you can look it up, where I talked about this, where I labeled it Hyrule Warriors The Imprisoning War. I talked about all the characters that were going to be in it, what the game was going to be like, and it literally came true to the degree that I was talking about. So, it's not like I was surprised by this, but I was really hoping that Koei Tecmo would work with Nintendo to make another type of Warriors game. Something with maybe Mario Warriors, even Xenoblade Warriors. I'm not even a huge Xenoblade. I just finished the first game, and I still would have rather seen a Xenoblade Warriors game compared to a third Hyrule Warriors one. They could have did Kirby. They could have did Pokemon. They could have did, Star Fox even if you wanted to. I mean, there's so many different genres and franchises they could have done with this. I'm just like, oh, we're doing, not only Zelda again, but the second Breath of the Wild style Hyrule Warriors game. So yeah, I was a little thrown off by that. Not super excited for that. But still, I was like, okay, let's see what else they got. Another big reveal that they had was Kirby Air Riders. I grew up playing Kirby Air Rider, and a lot of people didn't see this. I know a lot of people made videos about my reaction to this and said that I was just a brat and all I think about is Mario. Not true. I play almost every Nintendo IP outside of Fire Emblem right now. I'm still trying to find, I'm going to try Fire Emblem, but like I said, I just finished Xenoblade 1. I loved it. So I am expanding, but I play pretty much every other Nintendo franchise. I play Kirby, Metroid, Star Fox, Pikmin, all the other ones. Punch-Out even. Rhythm Heaven. I am so excited for the new Rhythm Heaven Groove. So yeah, like I'm all over Nintendo's franchises, but Kirby Air Rider is a game that I grew up with. I played City Trial nonstop as a kid over my grandma's house and stuff. We'd take my GameCube over there. I love Kirby Air Rider, or Air Ride. I'm mixing up the names now. But seeing this game and seeing that this is what Sakurai was working on was also a little bit of air out the balloon, because like Kirby Air Ride was already mixed received. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people hated it. I loved it. And it's exciting to see another one, but it just felt like the timing was weird. This is a game that I would have loved to see maybe next year or even the year after. This is a game that's apparently slated to be coming this year, which I'm assuming is in the next couple of months, right after Mario Kart World, which is already a big racing game. There's also Sonic Racing, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds or something like that coming out this year. Another racing game. I think Garfield Kart just came out. Disney Kart just came out last year. Mario Kart 8 just had Booster Pass DLC for 2 years in a row. It's just like, this felt like just such a weird time to drop a racing game with Kirby Air Rider. Or Air Riders. The name's throwing me off here. But, you know, I know they're different racing games. If you ever play Kirby Air Ride, it's a completely different racing game with a different drift system and stuff. So it is different. I get that. But it's still, to a lot of people, going to be another racing game. And if people are going this holiday season and they're like seeing these expensive games at $70, $80, they're like, am I going to spend what I'm going to guess is either $60 or $70 for Kirby Air Riders, or will I spend the $80 for Mario Kart World? Probably Mario Kart World. You know, it's Mario Kart. Most people are going to want to pick up Mario Kart over Kirby. And this just felt like this is a weird clash, you know. I wish this, you know, and I think that's another thing. More air was let out of the balloon for me, because I'm like, I wish that this Sakurai game, you know, of course, a lot of people are saying Smash Brothers. I'm really looking forward to a Smash Brothers reboot, and I know that's still coming. In some form, we're going to be getting Smash Brothers soon. But I was really holding out for Kid Icarus. I felt like this would have been a perfect time to bring back Kid Icarus. Sakurai's been saying it nonstop that he really wants to see Kid Icarus, you know, Uprising make a return. And, you know, this was like a perfect opportunity to maybe even have a new Kid Icarus game and get people familiar with this franchise. Seriously. And I just felt kind of defeated by this, because I was like, man, you know, this is just a Kirby game that he's been working. Kirby's been getting so much love. There's been so many spin-offs, main games and stuff. I mean, HAL Labs has been killing it with Kirby. I was very surprised that this is yet again another Kirby game. With a brand new console, you know, most people are going to buy any and every game that's out, you know, that first year, just because there's not a lot to play on their new console. This was the chance to bring Kid Icarus to the light. Just a really ambitious 3D brand new Kid Icarus game that followed after Uprising would have been so big, with even online modes to play online and stuff and battling. It just kind of like, yeah, just like they had Sakurai and they used him for something that I felt like they didn't need to use him for that specific thing. And maybe that's just me. Like I said, I love Kirby Air Ride, and I'm going to probably love Riders. I'm hoping there's more, you know, another big city trial mode again and stuff. And, you know, there's so much stuff I can't wait to see and check out, and maybe Sakurai's cooking up. But it just kind of let me down. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like one of those things like, okay, that's cool, they're bringing that back. Wow, I didn't expect that. But, you know, it was just like, this was one of the last reveals of the show. This was one of the last major first-party reveals of the show before the last big thing. And I'm just like, man, I'm already just kind of drained from this show, but I haven't seen any really major big titles so far. And I'm like, a lot of people are going to complain that there's just not much to do with their Switch 2s besides Mario Kart World. And I'm still seeing people complain about that. And I don't get it, because there's still so much to do in Mario Kart World. But some people want some variety, and most people expect that launch title to be a big single-player game. A lot of people wanted Donkey Kong Bonanza to be it, because some people are getting bored with Mario Kart. And I completely understand. I get it. You know, there's a lot of stuff to do, but it can get boring over, you know, a period of time, especially if you've done everything you can do in the game. But you can say that with any single-player game. But Nintendo ends with one final thing, and I think the problem was, this is where I was hurt. You know, and I feel so bad for Donkey Kong, because I would have gave Donkey Kong a proper exciting, you know, reaction. I was so like trying to figure out what was going on. I'm like, did I really just watch a Switch 2 after all these dreams and hopes and exciting moments I had? I'm like, did I really just watch this event? This just seemed this isn't what I was expecting, you know? I was expecting big reveal after big reveal after big reveal, maybe the next Luigi's Mansion, you know, maybe even a tease at Splatoon something, which I'm going to get into in a second, which I knew probably wasn't going to happen. Maybe a tease for Smash Brothers, maybe a tease for Animal Crossing, some other big franchise getting teased here, right? I mean, come on, there has to be something to excite us. So I thought for sure this last reveal would be Mario. You know, we've been waiting for 3D Mario, of course. Nintendo Land forgot about Mario, or Nintendo forgot about Mario. You know, everybody expected, you know, and it wasn't just me. I was seeing everyone expecting 3D Mario before this presentation. It has to be here, right? The final reveal, it showed something that looked very similar to Mario Odyssey, and I thought to myself immediately, this got to be 3D Mario, but I'm not happy with it. I remember seeing the beginning of the trailer of Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I was like, this doesn't look like what I was expecting, because in my head, I'm thinking this next 3D Mario has to be super ambitious. I'm expecting a full open world in the Mushroom Kingdom, and Mario's able to trick and flip and do platforming challenges all across this giant open world. And I'm not trying to make it seem like Nintendo has to make something that I want. That's not the case at all. It's just something that I was really expecting, and I was kind of let down when I saw that this looks like Odyssey 2. You know what I mean? And very quickly, I started to realize this can't be Mario, because they definitely do something a lot more ambitious than this, right? It's been over 8 years almost. Like, surely they'd do something bigger than just an Odyssey 2. And of course, Donkey Kong showed up, and I promise you, I was very excited for Donkey Kong, but I think that final confirmation of this is it, there's no other big games being announced in the show. 3D Mario is not going to be here. I was trying to dissect and digest a lot of that, and it was a lot. And I was trying to really focus on Donkey Kong, and I couldn't, and I couldn't just because I had that in my head. And I know a lot of people, take this stream that I posted out of context, and they're like, you're such a brat, all this stuff. You didn't get your way, you didn't get your Bing Bing Wahoo, you didn't get your Mario. That's not the case. Yes, I was upset about Mario, of course. Who wouldn't be after waiting this long and expecting it to be here at the big Switch 2 showcase? But I was more along the lines just upset that was it. Like, this is how we're ending the show. Like, Mario Kart and Donkey Kong is all I got from that. Everything else was just smaller stuff for not only me, but I'm sure for a lot of casual gamers. And I'm not a casual Nintendo fan. I'm a diehard Nintendo fan. I'm going to buy and play all these games. But still, looking at this, I'm like, my friends who are thinking about picking up a Switch 2 is not going to have any reason outside of Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. 2 games. 2 big takeaways out of this 1 hour long Nintendo Direct. And I'm trying to compare it to like that Nintendo Switch presentation in 2017. Remember when they showed off more of Breath of the Wild and announced it was a launch title? Mario Odyssey was shown off. A brand new Splatoon with Splatoon 2. A brand new Xenoblade with Xenoblade 2, which was like crazy at the time. Mario Rabbids would come that year. There was a lot of stuff. ARMS, a brand new IP. We weren't getting reveals like this. It was like another Warriors game. Oh, Kirby Air Ride is back. Okay. And it's just like, that was it. Those were the big things. We knew Mario Kart was coming. So that was kind of like the Breath of the Wild situation, which I could completely put it there. Donkey Kong was a good trailer, but I don't think it was like necessarily on the hype level of Odyssey. Now, this is coming from after the Donkey Kong Direct, and I will say this game is going to be better than Odyssey. I'm telling you, from what I've seen of this Donkey Kong Direct, this game might beat out Odyssey, man. This game is looking perfect. Seriously perfect. But once again, Donkey Kong's coming out next month, and then after next month, I don't know what in the world to be excited for. I'm very excited for Prime 4, but not a lot of people are going to be. I can just feel that, just because there hasn't been enough hype around it. We're approaching towards the end of June. There hasn't been a general Nintendo Direct. I don't know what Nintendo's doing, but this show, it just left me feeling flat. I was just really expecting those big reveals. And even if even if the next 3D Mario isn't coming this year, I was expecting to maybe at least get a glimpse, maybe just a screenshot of like Mario standing looking out into the world, kind of like Link looking into the world of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. Something to get me a little interested in what could be happening with 3D Mario, but it wasn't just 3D Mario. I was expecting more franchises and series to get some more like surprising announcements and reveals here. I was kind of even hoping Star Fox could get its, big, door breaker game that it needs, and nothing. I mean, this is the time to do that stuff. Get people excited about Star Fox on your brand new Switch 2 console again. Don't wait 3 or 4 years and be like, oh, Star Fox Millennium or whatever it's going to be called didn't sell well on Switch 2. That's because you released it on year 6 of Switch 2. Look what they did with Mario and Luigi. They finally decided to bring back Mario and Luigi, but they waited till year 7 and it didn't do that good. Mario and Luigi Brothership is a great game. Is it perfect? No, but it should have done and been received a lot better than it was, and I think the problem was they just waited so long. I kind of wish Mario & Luigi Brothership was just saved for the Switch 2 so it could perform and run better on that hardware, and also it could have I guarantee you, it would have sold so much better if they just held off on that game for like a year or so for Switch 2. But yeah, it just felt like, the show was missing things. Something else I want to cover is the FromSoft game, or From Software, whatever it's called, FromSoft game. I'm not, I'm very well versed in the gaming world. I play a lot of games that are not just Nintendo. A lot of people are accusing me that I don't. That's not true. I played through Horizon on my PS5, all the Spider-Man games. I play a lot of stuff. I just got done playing Astro on PS5. Love that game to death. And there's so many other games I want to play. I just got done playing through the entire Uncharted series, all the games. There's so many that I want to, get into as well and play, like Ratchet and Clank and stuff. So trust me, I'm well versed. I know my games and I know the gaming world and what's coming out. So I'm not oblivious to everything that's not Nintendo. A lot of people thought that, like, he doesn't know anything that's, obviously I'm Nintendo land for one. So clearly I'm going to cover stuff that's Nintendo. But anyways, there was like this new FromSoft game that they announced, some horror game, and and I saw it, and I know it's an exclusive, so yes, it's a big deal. But here's the thing with me, and I didn't get to really explain this in that show. A lot of people was like, "You didn't even react to that? Are you kidding me?" That's not me. That's not me at all. I don't play horror games. I don't play any of those creepy, demonic style. And I'm not trying to just sound like a church guy or anything like that. It's not me. It's not what I was raised in. It's not what I play. It immediately I was like, nope, I don't even want to give this attention. I grew up in a church background. I am a Christian and I am very deep in my faith. And I don't play that style of game. I thank God every day for what he has given me on my platform and, everything that he has done for me. And that's just something that it's a big part of me and my life and who I am. So I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I saw that and I said, no, I don't, that's one type of game I don't play. I didn't play Elden Ring because of that. And, I don't play Dark Souls or, stuff like that. And, it's not me just not trying to recognize or anything. It's just, that's not me. And if you guys know me, that's just something that it's my faith. It's just how I am. And you could even see from the trailer, it's very dark, and it's just something I steer away from. So no, I didn't even give that a time of day in my stream. I've talked about this before in the past on my channel. So if you're wondering why I didn't react to that, that's simply why. It's just way too dark. It's something that I just distance myself away from. And also it's just like, it's not a game that I'm looking for. I don't care if EA came out and said, we're having a very exclusive Mario, soccer FIFA inspiration game or something for Switch. I still wouldn't have cared. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not my thing. Everybody can have their own thing. For people that care about this new FromSoft, exclusive, great. For me, it's not for me. It's not my thing. So I'm not going to react. I'm not going to fake react to something that I don't care about or that I don't want to support for me personally, in my beliefs. But that's just me. Thought I'd put that out there, and cover that because a lot of people were asking me about that. The 3D Mario thing, yes, I was definitely expecting a 3D Mario game. I mean, who isn't? It's been so long, and even after this Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, I am so excited for Donkey Kong. It is definitely going to push me away from talking about 3D Mario for a while. But still, it's not 3D Mario. Because I know I have this like feeling in my gut as to what this 3D Mario game is going to be. And it is going to be, I feel like it's going to be like Mario's Breath of the Wild moment, where it's just going to be this open air, open world, huge, expansive Mushroom Kingdom adventure for Mario. And it's going to be so much bigger than Donkey Kong, just on a scale. I mark my words, come back to this and just listen to this again when it happens, because it's going to be huge. When I seen what they did with Bowser's Fury, it looked like they're testing that open world aspect for Mario. I know a lot of people are going to be like, not everything needs to be open world. I mean, it would work so great. I've made a million videos. I don't need to discuss why here, even though I will. Whole open world. Imagine the Mushroom Kingdom, like New Super Mario Bros. U, that whole map, you're able to fully, go around, explore all the different terrains and stuff. Finally see Toad Town, go around Peach's Castle, but the world's littered with platforming challenges like shrines from Breath of the Wild. Oh my gosh, overworld bosses to fight and everything, and you have Mario's full acrobatic moveset where he can wall jump, flip, roll, climb, all that stuff. It'd be so good, and I'm just picturing it now. Like, especially after seeing the Mario movie, seeing Mario run around that open world. I'll do a whole video talking about 3D Mario because that's just me. That's my thing. I think everybody is agreed that's like my thing online. 3D Mario. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. But yeah. So at the end of this show, I felt flat. I did. I felt like, there was some good stuff here, but I mean, like, I just felt like the announcements were boring for me for the most part. It was a lot of sitting through third-party games and only 2 major reveals, which was like crazy to even think about when the Switch 1 presentation revealed so much more. a lot of people were like trying to tell me that, this is just for, the first half of Nintendo's year, or like, Nintendo's not going to slate everything here. I don't know. Are you sure? Because like I said, we're almost at the end of June, and it doesn't look like Nintendo is going to be having a June Direct. I could be wrong. We could have one in the next couple weeks. I still think they have to, just because there's so many games. None of those games that they showed, by the way, outside of Mario and Donkey Kong and the Switch 2 exclusive games or Switch 2 edition games, none of those other games have release dates. Kirby doesn't. Hyrule Warriors doesn't. Metroid Prime still doesn't. Once again, I'm still going to die on that hill. Prime got screwed over in this Direct. There's no reason Prime shouldn't have got, its own little trailer and showcase and stuff in this Direct when all these other games did. I'm just also confused about the Splatoon thing. Nintendo just took to Twitter randomly recently and revealed a Splatoon Raiders game. This is another one of those things, I even tweeted about this. This would have made me at least up a whole letter grade if this was revealed fully with a full trailer and everything in the Switch 2 presentation. Because this is the stuff that we're looking for. This is the stuff that people want to see. Crazy new ideas and new things that are big and ambitious. A Splatoon adventure spin-off game? I mean, this is gigantic. You know what I mean? This is a huge, huge deal. This is like a 3D Kirby, 3D Donkey Kong, 3D Mario. And Nintendo just drops that on Twitter. Why couldn't that have been in the Switch 2 presentation that aired literally a month ago? Why couldn't they show that a month ago instead of now? It's just stuff like that. And especially if that ends up being the holiday game for this year, it confuses me why Nintendo wants to just keep that behind closed wraps when that could have been a big reveal that they had at the show. I don't know. That's the stuff that I just don't understand. And I feel like there's probably even another game or two that could have been shown off that's ready to go that Nintendo's still hiding and keeping from us and maybe, getting ready to reveal in either a summer or a fall Direct this year. But yeah, I just felt like, I know a lot of people are saying like they don't need to reveal everything right now. You kind of do with the Switch 2. You already hear all the haters that are talking about there's not a lot to play and stuff. Show people why the investment in the Switch 2 is going to be worth it. Have a huge lineup of major titles. And I'm not saying everything needs to be now, but has some stuff that's slated off, maybe a couple games for next year, a couple games for this holiday. Of course, Donkey Kong and Mario Kart now. Because like I said, when Donkey Kong's out in less than a month, what in the world are people going to be talking about? I can hear the Nintendo Switch 2 haters going crazy right now. Just talking about, you got your Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, now what? It's just an empty desert of just, spin-off and smaller titles. That's the thing I'm worried about. So I'm hoping Nintendo has plans. and that they're just hiding stuff from us. And that's why I wasn't really excited for that Switch 2, or I wasn't really excited after that Switch 2 presentation. I felt like, it was just like another Nintendo Direct to me. It didn't have that special quality. Do you remember that Switch 2017 presentation? I'm going to keep bringing it up because that had that special feel to it, man. Oh, it had its special feel. It was also an hour long, and I feel like it conveyed more information. Something else, I feel like they didn't even talk about the Switch 2 all that much. There was so much information coming out on Twitter and questions that people were having about the Switch 2. Like, what was the UI? They didn't show anything with the UI. Was anything different? Did they add anything else? There was all this other additional information. I was like, why wasn't this in the Switch 2 presentation? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't they talk more about this console? I feel like they were just, keeping it really hush. That's what I'm just confused about. Yeah, but that was it. And, after coming out to that Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, that is the best Nintendo Direct that we have gotten in a very long time. Because it got worse after that. The Mario Kart World Direct happened. And, I remember like all my hype for Mario Kart World started to diminish when I started to see, oh my gosh, they're showing pretty much everything in this Nintendo Treehouse event. That's another thing. Like, the Treehouse didn't really give us anything to really sink our teeth in. You know what I mean? It was just like tons of Mario Kart World gameplay, which I'm like, okay, and some Donkey Kong Bonanza gameplay. Everything else was just stuff that I didn't care about. Yes, it was good finally seeing some gameplay for Metroid Prime. They didn't show anything for Kirby, anything for Hyrule Warriors. It just kind of like they were quiet with a lot of stuff. So I don't know. It was like a bunch of just Mario Kart, and they were showing everything that the game had to offer, so that when that Nintendo Direct came from Mario Kart a couple weeks later, they didn't have anything new to show. And I think the main reason was because there isn't anything new to show. Mario Kart World didn't have much content to it. You know what I mean? It's just that everything we saw, that's it. There wasn't too many secrets and surprises. They didn't have anything else to put in that Mario Kart World Direct. But yeah, the 2017 Switch presentation will never be beat, in my opinion. I feel like the hype was it was too high coming off the Wii U. The reveals were so big. Mario and Zelda in the same Direct. I mean, come on. Plus Splatoon, plus a new IP, plus a crazy RPG collaboration spinoff with the Rabbids. I mean, it was new stuff, exciting stuff, expected stuff, major first-party focus. The third-party games got like a 10 to 15-minute showcase at the very, very end after showing first-party stuff first. That's how it should be. Show your first-party games before all the third-party nonsense. I don't know. I felt like that 2017 presentation was that 2017 presentation was magical. It was magical, man. I will never forget that. And I didn't get that with the Switch 2. I felt more, defeated, if anything. I felt like I just watched a normal, Nintendo Direct, a couple big games and nothing but third-party stuff and filler. But that's just me. Let me know, how did you guys feel about that presentation? And did anybody agree with me? I know a lot of people in my chat did. Maybe it's just because you were agreeing with me. But, I'll say, once again, I wasn't trying to make anybody mad. I should be allowed to have an opinion. If I didn't like something, I didn't like something. You know what I mean? If I didn't enjoy a presentation, I should have the right to not enjoy a presentation. If you did, great. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have. If you enjoyed everything that you saw, more power to you. Awesome. Also, I know some people are making videos about that live stream and their own little videos and reactions about my live stream, and I've had a lot of DMs and comments and stuff. And let me also say, you should not be telling people what they can and cannot do on their own streams and their own time doing their own thing. I am hosting my own live stream, doing what I want on my live stream. I can check my phone. I can look at whatever it's not professional to check your phone or to do this or do that. I can do what I want. That's something that I couldn't believe that some people were like making reaction videos. There were some people really coming at me for that. I'm like, dude, I see so many of these other same people that were coming after me on their own live streams, eating cheeseburgers and stuffing their face with food. And that's supposed to be more professional than me checking my phone? I talk to my friends during Nintendo Directs, before and after, and sometimes during the show if there's big reveals that I know that they like. They're at work. They're working hard, and they're trying to watch the show from their phone and stuff, and they're sending me stuff and talking about the show. I'm talking with them. I'm interacting with them. And it's just like, people jumping on me for checking my phone during my own Nintendo Direct live stream is so silly. I'm allowed to check my phone. Like, it's just like, I don't understand people. People crack me up. But yeah, at the end of the day, I felt like there could have been more with that show. I've seen better shows. It's not just about Mario, and I didn't get my 3D Mario. I would have loved to see more obscure franchises, maybe even better new IPs than Dragon. Yeah, I didn't even talk about those. Nintendo showed off like 2 games that was just an absolute joke. Dragon Drive, which is like this, wheelchair basketball game that you play with the mouse mode with both controllers. I felt like that was just no thanks. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. And then you also had a Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which was like, it should have been a free pack-in game, but they were charging $10 for a tour of your Nintendo Switch 2 with a couple of like boring micro games. I don't know. I felt like there could have been more. Yeah, I just overall felt just very, very off about this show. And I don't know. From all the comments that I've seen from everybody, it seems like everybody loved it. It seems like everybody enjoyed it. So, I'm not going to ever go back on what I said. I still, to this day, agree with my reaction to it. I go back and I watch that Direct sometimes, and I try to see if, was I justified for that reaction? Was it really bad? I didn't enjoy it. And I still feel the same exact way today, like over a month later. So that's just my opinion. Thank you guys, especially for those of you that just been listening in the background or something and just tuning into this and watching it all the way through. I actually really do love just sitting and talking to you guys and keeping it real with you guys. You guys get to learn more about me and who I am and how I feel personally about things instead of my, scripted kind of, more cut to the chase videos on Nintendo Land. So that's what you get here on Nintendo Land, and more interesting videos like this. But I want to thank you guys so much. You guys, oh my gosh, you guys are insane. You guys brought in so many brand new subscribers. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So that's all this channel is going to be, is just talks about Nintendo games and topics around the world. So if you want to hear more of my opinions and talks and stuff, keep it here on Nintendo Landon. Let's see how many more subscribers we can get. Let's just, keep the channel growing. It's a brand new, fresh start for this channel, and it's a brand new idea that I'm having a lot of fun with. I actually am having a blast with this. This is something that I didn't really know before that I wanted to do, but I'm really enjoying myself. But thank you so much for your support, guys. And like always, I will see you all on the next one. See you guys.